If you already have an Uber or Lyft account, then you have a personalized promo code on your app that you can give to other riders for discounted rides. In honor of this year's Jeep Fest, we went out in search of the biggest Jeeper in our area, and after scouring Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, we think we found a winner. This is the 90th year for the plunge, and despite having to move locations, lots of people came out to ring in 2019. Shocking accusations against a prominent member of the Bowling Green community. Yesterday, Daniel Gordon stepped down from the Bowling Green City Council, saying he was relocating and could not serve in Ward 1 anymore. But now a Facebook post about Gordon is being looked at by police. Alexandra Stradlin first came out on Facebook accusing Gordon, her ex-boyfriend, of sexual assault. Her post got in the hands of the Wood County Democratic Party, who alerted the Bowling Green City Police Department.
The party hadn't been made aware of those allegations before, so I asked for a copy of those, and we promptly turned those over to the police.
I spoke with Alexandra this afternoon over the phone about her relationship with Gordon, which was nearly 8 years ago. She says most of their sexual relations were consensual, but there were times he did not stop when she asked him to.
He pinned me to the floor and kept doing it, and I tried to get away from him for a little bit and kept telling him I didn't want to do that, and then he started to remove my pants, and so I just stopped struggling.
Alexandra says Gordon raped her. She says she wanted to come forward after seeing Dr. Ford testify against Brett Kavanaugh. Alexandra knew of Gordon's rising success in politics and felt she had to say something now. I reached out to Daniel Gordon for a comment on this story and did not hear back from him. Reporting in Bowling Green, Amy Steigerwald, WTOL 11 on Fox 36. Well, Dan, I'm told that crews were dispatched and sent out here just around 9:15 this morning. If you take a look behind me, you can see that there is some damage on the first and second floor of this apartment complex at the 1100 block of Pinebrook. Now, we're still working to learn exactly how this fire got started. 5 people were inside a neighboring apartment when the fire broke out, and all of them managed to escape thanks to the help of firefighters. Crews rescued each person from the complex and dropped a small child from the second floor of the balcony to safety. All 5 people sustained non-life-threatening injuries and are expected to be okay.
There was nobody in the actual fire apartment. It is under investigation at this point, but everybody was able to either escape or rescue.
Now, people have been let back into their apartments at this time. Crews have permitted them to do so. Everyone is off scene here right now. The American Red Cross is assisting those people that were affected, and we're still working to learn how the fire was started. We hope to have that answer for you tonight at 5. Live in South Toledo, Amy Steigerwald, WTOL 11. Jim Scher was watching his grandson in a wrestling tournament at Perrysburg High School. Little did he know his life would take a dangerous turn. During the match, Jim suddenly felt dizzy and out of nowhere collapsed and suffered a cardiac arrest.
I said, I'm gonna pass out. And the next thing I remember was that I was, coming out of it.
But in that time, first responders from all around came together to save Jim. One of those people was Dr. Michael Matten.
And I was there for a tournament coaching kids, and someone came up and said that somebody had passed out.
Dr. Matten and other nurses, doctors, police officers, and EMTs came together and began CPR.
It was it was great to see the amount of people that came out that just wanted to help.
First responders immediately jumped into action, one of them knowing exactly where the AED was. Dr. Matten says the AED ultimately made the difference.
We could continue CPR, but that early shock was what helped him, in my opinion.
This is the second time in less than 2 years that an AED has saved someone at a Perrysburg school. Their superintendent tells me this leads to a bigger conversation about safety.
And we've talked internally here just in this last week about at events like that, having a moment before the event begins to remind people where the exits are, where the AEDs are, and what they need to do in the event of an emergency.
Tonight, less than a week later, Jim is recovering at St. Luke's Hospital. After going through triple bypass surgery, Doctors discovered he had more than 50% blockage in 3 different arteries. The message from all of this: listen to your body.
And I hid it for about 2 or 3, 4 months. I had some burning sensation in my chest when I would walk a long ways or when I would cut the grass or do something exerting. Get yourself checked out. Make sure that you know exactly what it is.
But most of all, Jim wants to say thank you.
I just want to say to all of them, thank you so much for saving my life.
In Perrysburg, Amy Steigerwald, WTOL 11.
A parent.
Yes, it's concerning for any of us who use a ride-sharing app. What makes this even more worrisome is the fact that the driver tried to convince the girls to just pay him cash, which you can't do on the Lyft app. Early Tuesday morning, a group of girls took a Lyft home from downtown Toledo. After 2 of the riders were dropped off, one of the girls requested to be taken to her home to let her dog out. The driver suggested to have her pay cash. Instead, she ended up ordering another Lyft on the app with the same driver. When she got home to let the dog out, the driver was still in the driveway 15 minutes later. The driver allegedly groped her and kissed her outside of her home. She immediately went inside and called 911.
The fact that this guy was trying to get her to extend the ride without going through the service is frightening. And no female should ever do that, because then now there's no record that you're even in that car with them. And there's nobody holding them accountable to make sure that they get you to where you need to go.
The Lucas County Sheriff's Office is investigating this incident. They tell me the driver is not driving for Lyft at this time, but it's unclear if that ban is permanent. Coming up at 6, advice from this father when ordering a ride home. Live in studio tonight, Amy Steigerwald, WTOL 11.
Amy, what are you learning about these 2 now that you've dug it a little deeper?
Well, authorities are not saying much about who these people were, what connection they had to Northwest Ohio, but I've been digging through social media all day and speaking with a few local school districts about their past. Here's what we know so far. Elizabeth LeCron is a graduate of Maumee High School. School officials tell me she graduated in 2013. Her yearbook picture is unavailable. I also spoke with a number of people who worked with Elizabeth in the past or knew her in some way, shape, or form. Some of them worked at the Kroger off Glendale in South Detroit and say she worked there for a period of time as well. Now, I was unable to confirm that with Kroger, but former employees say Elizabeth never showed signs of violence when they knew her. She did, however, deactivate her social media account recently. As for Damon Joseph, limited information is available. We do know he attended Swanton High School for less than a year. It's unclear why he left, but school officials say he was a student from May 2015 through February of 2016. Now, we'll have more on this story coming up at 5:30, but we want to know what you think about this. Go to our WTOL Facebook page and tell us what you think. We'll share some of your comments coming up. Live in studio, Amy Steigerwald, WTOL.